to me, it's an embarrassing, insulting, unconscionable legacy that we will leave to our children if we don't do more around economic empowerment.
Mr. Klingman, I can tell you're passionate.
You noticed.
Yes, and the business and all of the wonderful work that you do here in Cincinnati and across the country. But I wonder, does it leave you any time for family?
Yeah.
Family?
I was just talking about that about a week ago, and I was in New York and Brooklyn doing some workshops on stewardship in a church there, Flatlands Church of Christ, and I was talking about it with my minister we went together. And I was saying, I have to learn how to say no a lot more than I have been. Every time somebody calls, when you speak here, can you do this, can you do that? And I would do it. I have a real good relationship with my daughter and my wife. My wife supports me in what I do. She understands that sometimes I'll be gone and doing things out of town and everything. My daughter, as she's growing up now, is a little more, what can I say, resistance to my leaving. But we have an excellent relationship. They're supportive, both of them are very supportive of what I do, but I have to make a change. I have to say, I can't do this. I have to start saying no a lot more than I used to, because that relationship is real important, and we all know that time is fleeting, and I have to pay more attention to that.
Okay. And just for the record, would you state their names, your wife's name and your daughter's name?
My wife's name is Sylvia, and her maiden name is Barfield. She's from Chicago. And my daughter's name is Kaya, K-I-A-H, Kaya Klingman.
Oh, Mr. Klingman, this has been a wonderful discussion. A lot of history shared on these tapes. But you mentioned the idea of legacy. And now that you've mentioned Kaya, I'd like to ask, what do you hope that your legacy will be to her and to other African American children?
Mm-hmm. Well, I consider that I am living my legacy before her very eyes. I'm obviously much older than the normal father of an 11-year-old. And I started very early, even before she was born, writing things to her and about her. And I put it into a book and gave it to her when she turned, I think, 5 years old. And then I wrote a book called Fathers and Daughters, which was some poetry, some musings, some thoughts about relationships, father-daughter relationships, some pictures of herself and myself, and that was a published book. And she and I, have shared a lot of good times. I've taken her all over the country. She's been everywhere, even out of the country a couple of times. So I'm living my legacy before her. I try to live in a way that will provide the example to her of someone who is honest, someone who cares about other people, someone who's responsible, who will do what needs to be done to take care and to contribute to the care of our family. My wife works. I can't take all the credit. She's a nurse, a registered nurse, pediatric nurse, and but I try to live my legacy. When I'm no longer here, my daughter will have obviously all the things I've written, both for her and other things that I've written. She'll have videotapes to watch. She'll have all kinds of memories of things that we did together. And she will have the African American Chamber of Commerce that she can drive by and say, my father started that. She'll have an entrepreneurship high school here in Cincinnati that she can see that I started in 2001, which is still going. And that's the legacy. And she'll obviously have the memories at church. That I have done sermons at church. I'm not a minister, but I've done sermons. And she'll have a lot of things that she can look back on, remember, read, videotapes and things like that she can look back on and see who her father was.
Well, Mr. Klingman, we're coming to the end of another segment, but when we pick up the discussion again, I'd like to continue with your thoughts on the difference that you've made in this community of Greater Cincinnati.
Okay.